Those are pretty close too, really.
You're good with that?
Yeah, I'm good to answering the courts. Yes.
Yes, okay, coach,
Or
that
answer
will be good.
Andrew
And
or
other
voice,
guy,
whatever
and
works.
boys can be called still Andrew then. That's why I'll have two different people here, one coach and one Andrews, and that'll be good.
All right.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, so that's behind me. And the second thing is I'm putting a risk management thing here. This is my number, and like you guys to share it also because just in case something does happen to the technology, we can still be in touch. That's most important because we can always come back after that. But
What
communications is the key
in the
nowadays.
chat? Let me.
Yeah, so that's me. I'm on the WhatsApp. So I'll note your numbers down as well. That'll be good. Just give me one sec here.
Can you pop that up again for me?
Sorry.
Can you pop I got 416-877-45. I didn't catch the
26.
last two.
26, yeah.
26.
Yep.
4526. Okay, good. And you go by Assad?
Assad.
Okay,
Simple, straight, alpha, sugar, alpha, delta.
perfect.
All right,
Yeah.
I saved the link and your number.
You did what? You said, okay.
The link and I saved your number. So
Yeah, but I need your number too somehow. You
yep,
like,
yep. I'm
you
about to.
can put it on the chat box there. That'll be great.
Yep.
Right. So I got court's number now.
And that's 336. There's an extra three. But
There is an extra 3 there, right?
I'll just enter it again just to be clear.
Yeah, okay. Is this on WhatsApp as well? Do you use the WhatsApp?
I have WhatsApp, but I use my just regular iMessage.
Okay.
I don't have WhatsApp, no.
Okay, fair enough. Just wanted to know that, right? That's okay. You don't have a WhatsApp, that's fine.
No.
No WhatsApp. Well, there's nothing wrong with using a WhatsApp. It's a free application, right? And what it does is that it's very secure. That people don't know that, but when it's very, very confidential. So I like that part. Nobody else can jump into your conversation or even not vulnerable to hacking and all. And it's very universal, very convenient. You can do video calls, you can do audio, video, or chat, whatever. So it doesn't cost you anything. That's the beauty of this. I'm not selling WhatsApp to you guys, but I've used it and I like it, and I like a friend. I share things with people. So that was the reason why. Yeah. Anyway, that's great. Okay, so just quick notes here. We're starting at 10 p.m. a.m. actually from the sunny Florida that I am at in the Eastern Standard Time.
Where are you at?
We will be talking a little bit more about you guys and know a little bit more about you as well.
Assad, where are you located right now?
I'm in Florida, Orlando,
Oh, okay.
right
Yeah.
close to, what can I say? Not too far from Tampa, 2 hours from Tampa, but
Yeah. I'm actually
more
pretty
towards
familiar with
the
Orlando. My
Daytona
grandfather
Beach.
used
You
to live
heard of
there.
the Daytona Beach?
Yeah. I know it very well. We go there. My grandfather used to live in Orlando, so my parents still go to Florida at the beginning of every year. So I still spend a good amount of time in Florida. And my dad lives in Jacksonville, not close to Orlando, but I'm pretty familiar with Florida.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. You can imagine today in 70s now. Today the weather.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, I'm in Connecticut right now, so it's about 12 degrees.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah, so you should be envying me now, huh? And your father is still there somewhere close to Orlando or no?
My dad lives in Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, okay.
And my mom and stepdad they go out to the Daytona area at the beginning of every year. So I spend, I go to Florida a few times a year still.
Oh, perfect. Very good, very good. Okay, and right now you said you are in
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay. Yeah, it's something very cold out there with snow. All
Oh
right,
yeah.
sure enough. Okay, so yeah, this is what it is, and I think we will allow all kind of informalities to creep into our system. That is fine because what is the objective? Objective here is to learn in a way which is efficient and effective both. Now, they're two different words, right? There's people mix them up, but effectiveness is to deal with the value, and efficiency has to be dealing with the steps taken towards to create the value. So these are two different things actually. So this is my touch. We call it the asset touch. So I do a lot of asset touch in my classes. And believe me, I've made thousands now of sessions on these kind of stuff and PMPs. In each class, you have like average 3 to 4 or 5 people, whatever maybe 2, 3, it doesn't matter. But it's been a constant thing going on for a long, long time now. So really, I feel that when we come here, just follow the doctor's advice, and you should get what you want, health back. That means your first time passing of your PMP exam. I was just talking to a US military guy. He's in Iraq right now. He attended my class, and I talked to him yesterday, and he says, Sad, I passed my PMP. And I said, wow, very great. That area is very turbulent at this point and all that stuff. But that's good to know all that. Okay. So I just wanted you guys to let me know a little bit more about you, basically, just to understand, what's your professional setup there. So I'll start with Andrew Coates first, and you can start here letting me know all this on the bullet, and then I'll let you open the mic for yourself, please. Yeah, go ahead. And Coates. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So yeah, can you address these points for me, please?
Who, me, Andrew, or Courts? Yeah, I'm Andrew Courts. I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina. In the chat or
No, you just speak. I will take my notes.
Okay, yeah. Andrew Courts, Greensboro, North Carolina. It was just in the Piedmont, kind of the center of the state. I have a variety of roles. I'm a small farmer. I have a nonprofit, All Ag Considered, that does agriculture education. And I'm a certified energy manager by, I guess, avocation. Considered to be a pretty good project manager. Farming's all about project management. Really all life is, in my opinion, but farming in particular is very much trying to be efficient and effective in accomplishing your goals. And the PMP is, nationally recognized symbol of expertise. I've had no Agile training. I did look up just in preparation for the class, the 5 initiate, plan, execute, manage, and then close or report. So there you go.
Very good, Andrew Coach. So basically, what you just said, I call it IPAC. You can take your notes with that because sometimes these are useful things to capture quickly. And IPAC would mean, to take a very quick example, that this is the project we guys are doing today to complete this 4 days training forever. For example, and this is a start date, end date. That's a temporary endeavor, which will create a kind of a unique result. So this is our objective of a pure definition of a project. And what we thought was that, okay, Andrew Courts and Andrew Boyce don't want to have Agile training at this point. They want to go for PMP, which makes more valuable, endeavor to go on with. So we offered the PMP to you, and that was like a business case done to take it you to the initiating. And in initiating, a charter was then sorted out in our minds or in document somewhere that we would do this training and we stick to this. And there is a justification for it because ultimately it serves our own goals as well to keep you happy as our clients. Okay, great. So this is called initiating. And then we identified the stakeholders. I mean, this is the mechanics of this thought here. And so that things go smooth. After that, we went into planning. We will do this, weekend course and all that stuff, and the timings and all that. So you were just mentioning that. We talked about planning, and this is like a very plan-driven approach. We call it TPM, traditional project management. And this is planning process group and project management body of knowledge, which is the holy grail for PMP. Because all the exams before 2020 were based on just PMBOK. And PMBOK started off in 1996. And every 4 years, like Olympics, it kept on getting to the newer edition and a better edition, if you say. And till it came down to PMBOK 6, which became more or less the bread and butter for majority of people dealing with project management in traditional way around the world for more than 6 years. And then they came up with PMBOK 7, which I've given copies of both to you, PMBOK 6 as well as PMBOK 7, okay? And and the PMBOK 7, the main thing was now this stress focus not only on traditional project management, but they started talking about saying that there are other ways to do projects. You could do a project in iterative way. You could do a project in incremental way. You could do combination of the two. You could do a project in a Kanban manner or a Scrum manner within the Agile, because iterative and incremental combined together, they become Agile. So there was APM, TPM, and a combo that was like hybrid. So it became PA, predictive, adaptive, hybrid, PA, PA, PA. So you had a lot of tools now as a project manager. This is how the history have evolved about project management. And then they came up not only with Agile, they thought about the concept of disciplined Agile, which is still a subject offered as a certification in PMI world. Because PMP is given by who? Not me, not Andrew Coates or Andrew Boyce. It's given by PMI. And you both are now pursuing PMP. I did my PMP too. So we are all going towards that mecca, which is PMI. PMI is not coming to us. We are going to PMI. So that is why I say to people, please wear the hat of PMIism, answering your questions in your exams, so you can be able to focus and pass your stuff. You like to, of course, display and like to boast to the world that, hey guys, I have a PMP, I have a PMP. You speak to the world, you show it to the and you take some benefit out of that. So why not? You are all justified to do that, but you have to learn and pass the exam first. That's the whole idea. Okay, so that was wonderful. And then after planning, we did the executing. We are right now doing the executing. And we are trying to follow the plan because there is an earnestness here, there is a seriousness here. I just told you that it's not about the output, just, oh, okay, we finished our course. Is that what you wanted? No, no. We have to learn so that we can talk and walk and apply this in our lives as well, or somewhere in the professional, and make good value out of this, right? So that's the whole idea. So this is where I'm coming from. And then, so it's never timings or anything like that. Oh, today we did it like 5 hours or 7 hours or 10 hours. It's not about hours, it's about objectives. As long as we can maintain our objectives to reach our understanding level where we want to be, I think that's where my techniques come into play, my different techniques, very, very unorthodox techniques. You will learn them. I mean, you will like to also, we'll see how it goes. So this is what is about the executing part. So when I was saying initiating, planning, executing, the executing is happening under the umbrella of the plan. And then we are monitoring and controlling. Off the bat, I asked you for your numbers. Why did I ask for your numbers? Do I have enough time to keep calling you guys and bothering you? No, you are busy people, and so am I. Believe me. So the idea here is about making sure that things go smooth. And in case there are certain situations where we disconnect or something happens, there is a way to connect again and start the communications going again as to give you visibility. Because if you have the visibility, you have the inspection capability. If you don't have the visibility, you cannot think about things and make any decisions on them. So that's the idea. So Agile is all about visibility, inspection, and adaptation. You change things, you do some backups to whatever, but you carry on taking feedback. And that's why it is iterative in nature as well. And then monitoring and controlling is going on, and then we'll close. So the whole big picture of project management is encaptured in the IPEC cycle. IPECC, initiate, plan, execute, control, close. So we sing the song. That's my audio. You sing the song, IPEC, IPEC, IPEC. Even if you hold a party, try it next time at your home. Try the IPEC. Okay? It'll work for you. And can you believe that all the PMBOKs had these 5 process groups? Initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, current, closing. And that means in each of them there are processes. And each of those processes, they even identify deeper to you that these are the inputs, these are the tools and techniques, these are the outputs. They call them ITTOs. ITTOs. The world before 2020 was very hard to pass the exam of PMP because there were like more than 600 ITTOs alone that you probably had to read and probably understand as well, and maybe memorize a few of them. And you needed in the PMBOK 6 like 49 processes. Okay, this is the big. So there's a lot of information, my friends. We're starting.
Should I hold my hand up if I have a question or an interjection, or should I just pipe up?
You just pop up. You say, Asad, I want to ask you.
I just want to make sure it's initiate, plan, execute, control, and close. Is that what happened? Okay.
That's correct. That is so damn correct. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. You are fast learners, I mean, because when we're coming to from your own world, you're coming in, I'm totally in your shoes. So I'll say, okay, there is this guy called Asad who's going to take our class. I don't know much about this guy. I'm not so sure whether it'll be an experience that I might take value from. But you forget that you have a duty to do yourself as well. Asad will do what he has to do. He's already a PMP anyway, but it's me who's going to be a PMP now. So maybe this guy, out of so much talks that he's going to do today, I may catch the important ones and note them somewhere or stick them to my forehead. That's a harder thing to do, but if you can, like you just did the IPEC, you got it. You got it, man. So good. Good for you. But you hear it and you throw it out from the other ear. Hard luck. You missed something, it was valuable and you didn't catch it. That was your choice. Asad couldn't do much about that, could he? So that's how I'm trying to say that to you. That's good. And you are welcome to talk to me. You see, that's the thing. That's the thing. We will take the feedback along as you go. Because I'll be teaching you, by the way, my friends, a layered way of training. It's called knowledge transfer, but it's a layered knowledge transfer. It's like a picture in picture. I mean, after a point, I will be showing you my MP4 file and you're running it around and you'll be listening to Asad as I'm just the same Asad talking, same slides, everything. And I will watch everything like you with me there. And if you have a question, you say, Asad, can I ask a question here? I'll stop that and just ask you, let you discuss it and move on. So we'll not reinvent the wheel that way as well, but I'll be fresh for your answers or questions. And the biggest advantage is that because this will be a recording of something that has already happened with other participants. So if you have two Andrews here, now there are more people whose perceptions you are listening to, the questions that you are listening to, the discussion that you may not have thought of is also coming through to you. So that is even having a bigger sense of participation, and you got more depth in that. That's called layered knowledge transfer. You have never heard of it before. We'll use this. You'll see how it's very effective. Okay, so that's me. That's what I just wanted to talk about. And thank you very much for introducing me to yourself, Andrew Coates. And I will now give my forum to my other friend, Andrew Boyce, please. Yes, please go ahead. Andrew,
Hey
can you?
guys. Yep,
Yes.
I'm here. Andrew Boyce, obviously. I live in Manhattan, in New York City. I'm currently home in Connecticut with my family. I have worked for Samsung for the past 7 years.
Mhm.
I worked for about 5.5 years in one role, and then due to a company reorganization, I was laid off. And then after my severance package and period ended, was rehired by Samsung in another by another team in a different capacity. So I have in my first role, I started off as a marketing manager and a social media manager, and that quickly transformed into a much more program and project management driven focus, where I wasn't only responsible for creating marketing materials or driving content and engagement, but I was responsible for managing whole programs and teams. So my role went from marketing manager to program manager for what we called our digital transformation efforts. So
Mhm.
our goal, we were a part of the customer care organization. So our goal was to update all of the care systems, software, and vendors, and modernize them, and then to advocate for those updates in a public way. So first change what Samsung was offering, and then once those changes were made, to market those changes to the public. So that I got a lot of experience managing people, vendors, and software as it correlates to one overall goal and project during that time. And the reason I'm here is because I want to legitimize that experience. I enjoyed leading teams. I'm a big sports fan, and I've been, since I was a little kid. So I'm certainly familiar with, the idea of knowing your job and playing your position as it, relates to achieving a team goal. So I'm looking to turn that experience that I was kind of, I found myself in versus chose to be in that project management type of role. I'm trying to, turn that experience into a legitimate, career path. So because the position wasn't, labeled a program manager or a project manager at the time, I want to use this exam and, certification to tell future employers like, hey, I'm I got my hands dirty, and I got involved in my last role. And even though I'm doing copywriting now, which is essentially just writing marketing material, my plan is to get back into the holistic program management sector field. So that's why I'm here, and I'm excited to legitimize the skills that I think Quartz and I have felt like we've practiced before, but maybe not on purpose, just found ourselves in position to, practice a lot of these skills. And now we'll be able to, put a name or put a certification to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, legitimizing your experience by a credential and a moniker to your name definitely is a very, I suppose, a prudent approach in this current approach of how you stay competitive in the world. So you showcase yourself, like I keep saying to people, so you're on the right tracks. You guys know each other from before, like you knew course before coming to the class, or are you guys meeting
No,
for the first?
no, we didn't know each other before, but Andrews know Andrews.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. Okay, but you have some agile experience from before?
Just personal study and again, like forced it's not like someone told me, hey, use this management style for this project. However, I've had to manage many projects and many teams and vendors. So over that span, I've had to kind of utilize several different methods, whether I necessarily even knew or not. But I'm pretty familiar with Agile, Waterfall, and Scrum.
Very good, very good. Yeah, so you are very familiar with roles like product owner, product
Right.
backlog,
Yep.
and Scrum Master, and the development team, and all those things. That's, you see, you're 50% of your exam of PMP. I haven't even started talking about PMP yet, and the exam and all that.
All right. Well,
But
perfect. I'll be done after Sunday then.
you're right. So that's the right approach, actually, very optimistic, but good. I like the positive part in this. So you see, you will have, I've given you materials like page number 797 of the PMBOK 6 copy I've given you. You will find the Agile Practice Guide, and I strongly recommend both of you to go through it. Agile Practice Guide, because there are certain things, you have to take your time to imbibe upon and get your
And
mind around things.
you,
And whereas
you
I
said
can give you,
so right now I'm looking in the Google folder with a bunch of files in it.
yeah.
It
So you'll find the copies of PMBOK 6 as well.
yeah, okay. I see PMBOK 7.
Yeah, it's PMBOK 7 and PMBOK 6 is also there.
I'm not
Should
seeing
be.
6. I only see 7 in mine, but
No, I gave you the link recently on the email. Did you see that?
oh, maybe I'm not looking in the right. There's a bunch of different emails.
Yeah. The one I have given you, the course material from Asad Kazim, Asad_Kazim at yahoo.com. That's from where it came. Maybe you might have gone to your spam folder, but I pushed the link back here on the chat box as well. So in case you didn't get it, so can you see that? Can you click on that or copy that link and you see the
I'm
chat?
still trying to figure out which you're talking about.
Okay. So can you look at this link again? Hey, yeah, there is nothing else I can
Oh,
do.
okay. I see PMBOK 6. Okay, I got it.
You got it?
We're supposed to be downloading PMBOK 6.
Yeah, sure, right away.
Okay.
Right away. Yeah. Okay. So you see, the thing is that I'm supposed to tell you a little bit about myself, but I don't have to talk too much here. I am an owner of my own organization called Consac Inc. This is a premier ATP of PMI in Tier 1 in Canada. And I am a Canadian for last 22 years plus, but I'm also now as a permanent resident in the US, sticking around. So half the time I spend in a year in the sunny climes of Florida and Texas, where my children are, and the next 6 months I go up back to Toronto. And I am an engineer by profession. Aeronautical engineering is the kind of apex of engineering because we deal with the aviation industry, which is really life-threatening in the sense that we are flying against the gravity, right? So we have to be good at what we do, cannot make too many non-compliances out there. I think you understand where I'm coming from. My forte is diversity because I lived in 6 countries, and that's quite a lot. Because I was born in Pakistan, stayed there for a while, did my engineering there, then went to England, stayed there, did my master's and all that from University of Southampton, and then in my profession, I was in Kuwait as an advisor to the chief of the Air Force, and the war took place, Iraq and Kuwait in 1990, and I was there. I saw the history unfolding in front of me. And then later on, I had my life in Germany for plus 4 years in Bonn. Again, those were historic times when Bonn used to be the capital of Germany, but because the east and the west walls, East Berlin, West Berlin wall came down and the Branden Gate got off. So it became one town and became the capital of Germany then, because it was very symbolic, really. So I have some great memories of Europe because I used to travel Europe a lot. And of course, then I shifted back here to Canada for last plus 20 plus years. And now I'm in the US as well as Canada. So it's been an interesting life. As far as the project is concerned, I like project management. I breathe and think like that now because I believe that life is like a project, really. But everything that you do, you could put it, let's say, even in an IPEC cycle, you can mold it back. And then there are certifications that you can do, like PMP that you're handling now. ACP, I already done that. And then risk, everything is thinking ultimately that we must manage risk, whether you do it the TPM way or you do it the APM way, Agile, doesn't matter, risk still has to be taken care of. You mentioned Scrum, there are roles in Scrum and there are certifications because you used the kind of right word when you said that you would like to legitimize your experiences. So I did that by certifying myself in Scrum Master certification, product owner certifications, developer team, you can certify there also, developer certified. And then when we talked about the concept of the improvements in the processes and all that, that's where lean comes into play. So lean is a science created by Toyota company. It is owned by Toyota, Mr. Toyota. Second World War, imagine that, Japan coming out of ashes, and then they really rose up from there, and the Toyota company became one of the top companies of the world in automobile engineering and all. Why? So there were reasons for it, and lean was against the waste, which is called Muda. And there are other two M's like Mura and Muri, which are out of your course for the moment. But I'm a Kaizen, like a Kaizen is improvement. I'm a Kaizen master also in lean. And then I got into Six Sigma because of my strong engineering background as well. Because this is all data sciences. This is a lot of statistics involved here. Yellow belt, green belt, black belt, master black belt. I think it's very interesting when you want to go down to the root cause and then try to get rid of the COPQs, which are the problems today of the world. Cost of poor quality. It's going to be tested in your exam. This concept of COPQ is going to be tested in your PMP exam, okay? Is a subset of COQ, which is called cost of quality. There are two costs, cost of good quality, cost of poor quality. So the Sigma battle is against the cost of poor quality. And then I was kind of also thinking of IT, so did my ITIL, and I teach that. I did version 3, version 4 foundations, and I'm teaching that as well. And recently I got into some new stuff in Americanized way, which is called Accolade, AKY LADE. And this is something which is as an accreditation body has come up last year, very recent. And this is the only accreditation body which is based on giving you certifications on NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology. And they have a cybersecurity framework with the 3 presidents of the US have signed on that as an executive order for companies and organizations to adopt if possible, including Obama, including Trump earlier, including Biden this year, last year, I mean, February. So Accolade offers certifications of cybersecurity resilience at the fundamental and practitioner level, as well as risk management at the fundamental and practitioner level, and also the security of artificial intelligence. So at the foundation level for the moment. So there are 5 certifications offered within the last 6 months, and I just cleared all of them. I don't know how. I'm not a great practitioner of cybersecurity. I don't get time to play things too much on practical level. But like I said, there is a way to understand a science and go and pass your exam. That's very important. So I can tell you that if you follow some of the techniques I use, maybe that'll be very helpful for you. And PMI is a very regimented body. And even to teach these kind of courses, you have to pass your own exam called Train the Trainer. So I am also a PMI ATP, it's called Authorized Training Partner Trainer for these certifications. Like I'm teaching PMP, Disciplined Agile, and CAPM, Agile, ACP, and all those things. The technique I was talking about is called KAVI, and now the other one is the knowledge transferred in a layered manner. So this has started working well. This K means kinestatics. That means I ask things for people to do on their own, rather than me trying to make a triangle here on the screen. I will not make it. I'll say make it yourself, or have some imagination of something in your mind. You do it. So that way you can, get a little more easy with your own self in having a conceptualization internally. And that's very important for kinestatics because you're actioning it yourself. A is for audio, which you are listening to me. V is for visual, which is going to be the slideshow, whether it's synchronous mode or asynchronous mode, doesn't matter. Slide is a slide, it'll be in front of you. And then the iterative part is the one which is important, that like we just talked about your IPAC. This is a typical example where we understood the bigger picture of project management, TPM, and then we take a little bit more feedback on our knowledge by going deeper into each of those. So we repeat up a few things and get better. So this is an interesting topic, like Agile, for example, will be considered as an EASAC. It's something different from IPAC. IPAC, I just talked to you. You can note down the other one is ESEAC. E means envisioning. S means speculation. E means explore. A means adapt. C means close.
Can you type that? Can you type that into the chat for us?
Yes. This is kinestatics. Note it with your own hands. E means envision. S means speculate. E means explore. A means adapt. C means close. ESEAC. EASAC. EASAC. Now that's my audio. Okay.
So just to be clear, the EASAC is a derivation or an alternative to the IPAC.
Agile. Yeah. It's an alternate to IPAC that was like waterfall. IPAC is like waterfall. And EASAC is Agile. You get my point?
Yep.
IPAC is traditional, Agile is easier.
Now, is the
The-
exam, and what I've just be abundantly clear about my goals, maybe I didn't get into them enough, and Andrew will probably have a complimentary or additional goals. My goal is to get enough information so I can pass the exam. No more,
Yeah,
no
for
less.
sure.
And so just so that I'm clear, so the Agile is a separate, the Agile and the waterfall are two of how many portions or sections of the project management in general?
Right. So
There are two of how
yeah,
many?
exactly. So Agile and the waterfall are methodologies. They can be adopted according to your situation to do the project, simply speaking. Will that work for you?
Yes. But so are there others? There's Agile, waterfall. Are those going to be the two areas that we focus on for purposes
Yeah.
of examination?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that accurate?
And
Okay.
yeah, Agile is embodying two things, which are called incremental and iterative.
I'm sorry, what's the second word?
Iterative, Iterative. Iterative.
And can you repeat what ESEAC stands for again? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. It is envision, ENVISION,
Yep.
speculate, SPECULATE. E is for explore. A is for adapt. C is for close.
So close is always going to be the close and communicate are always going to be the final parts of any project, correct?
Right. It has to be the
Okay.
final part. Got it?
Yep.
Good.
Okay. So that was me. And what I'm going to do now is that I will be taking you to the part where your course where we are talking about is to be run, and you have to just watch it with me, and I will be able to, in case you want to ask me a question, you can just say, Astad, I have a question. I will stop this, and we will then discuss it further if you have to. You got my point?
Yeah, and for the purpose of notes, how many modules are there?
5.
There are 5 modules, and we should just follow on the module, take our own notes, and interject questions.
Yeah.
And these slides are are what we need to know. And I keep wanting to get back to that because I don't. Andrew has more practical. I'm 60 years old and having to re-enter the workforce. So I'm more and I feel confident in my capabilities of accomplishing of achieving projects. But I look at the PMP. I probably should have said earlier, as Andrew said, as an acknowledgement and a transferable skill across industries.
Right.
And okay, just make sure. Andrew,
No, you should be good. Yeah, you should be good. You should be good, I'm sure. I mean, you were just trying to follow this with an open mind, I think. Yeah. So have confidence in that.
And I think this will hold relevance to what Andrew said, but one of the bigger problems that I've been experiencing right now as I'm trying to transition from a copywriting role to a project management role is, yes, I have done a lot of these things before, but I haven't done them under the umbrella of he is a project manager. So when I'm applying to project management jobs, that's the question that I'm getting asked. They're saying, well, we need 7+ years of project management or 8+ or 5+ or whatever. And without this exam or without this certification, it's hard for me to convince or explain that the work that I was doing before was in fact program or project management. So once I have this, Andrew, I think the point you were making is once you have this certification, it will be easier to, you will be more attractive to companies hiring program managers, because you can say, look, I have this certification and I got it because the explicit reason of explaining my past work history as it is not just work history, it was work as a program or project manager.
Very good. Yeah, that makes sense. So
And
pass your exams.
I totally agree with what Andrew said, and I just on module 1 are the words in color of specific meaning, or what's the color code?
No, it's only for teaching purposes, nothing more than that.
Okay.
And Assad, I have one more question. For today, like when we're following along, like you guys sent over a ton of links with a ton of study materials and PDFs and all this stuff. Will you instruct us how and when to utilize those? Like, is our only instruction right now just to follow along with these slides?
Yeah, I think that should be good to follow along with the slides to build up your concept, and there is no end to study though. But then once you start to practice your exam, you should do that. And follow this courseware is good enough for you to study, yeah. And then practice some exam questions.
You sent us those so we could use those on our own.
Yeah, I mean, of course you can. There's no harm there.
No, but I just didn't know if during the course today or tomorrow, like we
No, you don't not during the course. Just concentrate on the concept building on the course. That's all.
Right. Okay. And then
on that same note, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
On that same note, Andrew, and I'm glad we got a small group, Andrew. I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too.
On that same note, anytime that you can reference a particular page in a particular document or a particular book, that would be very helpful, because there's thousands of pages of material that you sent, and if I don't have to read any of it, I'm happy as a clam.
Right. I think the question for us, it's Andrew. It sounds like you're going to agree with me. Is at the end, or because I know this is this week and next weekend. I'm not going to be here next weekend. I have to finish in February. But at the end of Sunday, can you, Assad, give us can we do a run through of the documents that you sent us, and you can kind of tell us, because like Andrew said, there's a lot of material in there, and I completely agree. I want to do exactly as much as I need to pass the exam, because I'm still working right now. I'm applying to jobs right now, so I can't be spending unlimited hours reading every page. So it would be really helpful if we could go through what you guys sent over, and you could kind of either A, just tell us what they are, and maybe B, tell us which ones to focus on.
Okay, so basically, let me ask you one question. What I have sent you, I own that. What else you have also got from other, from the handlers? That's great. So I can just vouch for one thing, that people who did what I did with them in terms of telling them to listen carefully to what these 4 days of my training are, and also go through the Agile practice guide, which is already, I have given you one copy of that on page 797 of PMBOK 6. You read that. And as far as PMBOK 6 is concerned, in the courseware itself, then I'm going to cover on my slides here, I will be going and giving you the references and also show that screenshot right here. So you really don't have to do much, right? If you want to overkill it, there is no end to it. But I think you missed the point. I don't have to give you any references. I have not to give you anything. Just concentrate right now on the concept building first, and wherever the references are, I'm going to talk about them. So you should be familiar with PMBOK 6. A little bit PMBOK 7, but you should be a little bit familiar with PMBOK 6, at least download it for a courtesy. And I'm saying, hey, we are talking about a chapter 4, and that's 4.1 is about develop project charter. So maybe later on you can open up project charter, section there, and say, yeah, Assad is also showing it, and it is there. I mean, you don't have to read it deep, but you will trust the guy. Yeah, what he was saying is also there, right? Let's say if I'm in a parish, I'm in a church person, for example, or somebody like a Muslim and who's trying to tell you about that Quran says this. So you listen to that religious person, but you can, on your curiosity, open the Quran and also the Bible and say, yeah, yeah, so this is a reference and it is there. That's it. But you know what it meant, huh? That was more important. Your references don't count that much. The importance is the concept, though. You get me? So this is a little unorthodox. I know you're not trained to tuning this thing. You know, the trainings we've had throughout our lives. Oh yeah, this chapter, this reference, and where I go and pick it up. Well, you could. I will give you the reference where required, right? Don't worry about that. But
Right.
my
I'm just trying to get a hand on like what,
yeah, yeah,
in terms of passing the test. It
yeah, this
sounds like
should
you're
be enough.
saying
This should be enough.
just pay attention to this live training,
Right,
and
right,
you
right.
have the books and you
Exactly.
have the
Take my
materials
tips.
to
Yes.
support, but
Take my tips. Yes.
okay.
And
Okay,
then
got
practice
it.
your test. Yeah.
Okay.
This should be
Yep,
good.
yep.
And by the way, this courseware, which I'm going to show you now, this is by PMI. And this is a global courseware, whether you read this or study this courseware in Australia or in Brazil or here in US, doesn't matter. Everybody who has to do a PMP has to follow this courseware. What the beauty of this courseware I'm presenting you is a beyond PMI, because I am giving some extra examples to you and I'm talking to you when I have to, because you listen to this, okay? And take your notes, and they'll not be available sometime even in your material there. So you take your note. That's the important part. And if you do not understand something, you are always asking me, can I repeat something or tell you a little more, dilate something on that? I'm here to with you. You got me?
Yep.
Yeah, I got it. And also, if you can interject short, real life examples to aid in the memory,
Yeah.
please.
So that is my example part, is my forte. I just finished teaching like 2 weeks ago. Somebody, she was already little experience on portfolio management, and I finished the course in 2 days rather than three. And she was doing a lot of other studies, but her bulb was not on. I'm not praising myself. And she passed her exam last week. Jessica is her name, and she's overjoyed. And she says, Sad, the discussion we had just for 2 days with your examples really lit my bulb. So I want people to light their bulbs. Forget about how much studies you want to do. She had been studying a lot, but it was not making that part. And portfolio management, it is the highest certification. It's like PhD in project management. I did not take my exam myself on that because I didn't find it like, from my business, it didn't make sense at that point. So, but I'm teaching a lot of portfolio management. I coached the same subject to the professors and the IT teams of University of Arizona. I think about 2 months ago, there were 14, 15 people in my class, and they were all practicing or practitioners on portfolio management, and we had a good discussion. So that's why I tell you that, just take the tips and you will be fine. Okay, so you have any questions before we start running now?
Good.
All right. After those lessons, you have topics. And topics are something, of course, like thinking about more about forming team, for example. So we will go through them. You form a team, you make ground rules, you negotiate agreements not only with the team, with other stakeholders as well. You empower them. You train where you're required to train people. You will have to manage the virtual teams. You have to create a common understanding for everybody to move and swim towards the same direction. Got it? See, so easy. So these are your topics. Each module has topics. They're also called tasks. Why we call them tasks is because when you have to work with these tasks, then they become like your responsibility. And hence we call them tasks because, as a project manager, you should be worried about these areas
of responsibility. Okay, and naturally, when you start the project, you're talking about planning it, managing parts here. You see the concept of PMBOK. PMBOKs, when they were written, my friend was telling me that he had an idea about PMBOK 4. But just as a trivia, because I have been associated with PMI for a very long time now, and it was basically started in 1969 that PMI was formed. This is the body sitting out there in Pennsylvania, all right? And then in 1996, they came up with the first project management body of knowledge. And after 4 years, like Olympics, they were reviewing it and improving it in the second edition, the third edition, fourth edition, fifth edition, sixth edition, now the seventh edition. So I've given you copies of sixth and seventh editions, which might be relevant to your exam actually. But the sixth edition is very traditional, and I like that. Because most of the people are doing traditional project management. And to me, PMBOK 6 is the holy grail of that. Because it has got 13 chapters, the first 3 chapters are just introductory chapters. But then it jumps into these things like integration management, which is chapter 4, or scope management, which is chapter number 5, or schedule management, which is chapter number 6, or cost management, which is chapter number 7, or quality management, which is your chapter number 8, and your resource management, which is chapter number 9, and communication management, which is chapter number 10, and also then later on the risk management, which is chapter number 11, and procurement management, which is chapter number 12, and then stakeholder management, which is chapter number 13. So verbatim, I'm trying to give you verbatim. I don't have any books with me. I have nothing. But I'm trying to tell you that if you were to work on your project management skills of traditional project management, you should be understanding that. Okay, and this is where it is addressing these points here. So we'll work this a little bit more. So I have covered some of them, but now when you say doing the work, what do you imagine? It means now you are moving towards, your actions are being taken, and then deliverables are being created, and you are documenting things. So those are called artifacts, the 2D documentation. As you do, like you create risk registers, stakeholder registers, issue logs, change logs, and all those things, they're updating themselves. So you're keeping a history of this. Artifacts are like keeping a history for how things were when they look back. And also, if your deliverables are taking shape, slowly your functionalities are changing, adding on, then what is happening is you're keeping versions as well there. So artifact management is about configuration management and change management and version controls. That's what artifacts are about. Okay. And issues and challenges will be there. Obviously, they are there because if you have risk, which is futuristic, risk can have negative connotation, which is called threats. It's just uncertainty and impact. Impact can be positive as well, by the way. But it can be positive, right? It's called opportunity. If it is negative, it is called a threat. So when it is a threat and it is happening, it is challenging your work, and that is an issue. So we're talking about issue and handling the issue, also understanding it better every time you learn your lessons. That's like knowledge transfer, and we need to deal with that. So those are the things which are addressed doing the work. So get the essence right. So what have we talked about? We talked about creating the high-performing team. We talked about actually getting ready for the work, starting the work. Now we are doing the work. And while you're doing the work, we want to keep things on track. So you lead and support and remove challenges and collaborate with stakeholders and use things like emotional intelligence to promote success for your team. Those are the things which can be essentially taught here. And why are we doing all this? Well, we obviously ultimately to create value. Very good word, value. What is value? Well, when you do a project creates output solution. Let's say you're creating a hospital management system. And because you're creating a hospital management system, it will automate things in a hospital. They were on manual, for example, and they were having a lot of inefficiencies. And therefore, when you brought in this whole thing idea about a working package software solution, which will do things much better, efficiently, and more effectively. There are two different words, by the way. Efficiency is more process oriented. Effectiveness is more result oriented. Two different things. Process create results. See clear things you will mind. And therefore, what will happen is that if you created something in time and cost and whatever features it would have, that's fine. But if the hospital did not adopt the solution and did not use it, do you think the benefits will be realized? No. If the benefits are not realized, where is the value? Where is the value for the patient? Where is the value for the caring nurse, the nurses and the people who manage the patients? Where is the value for the senior management of the hospital? None of the tiers is going to take the value. Whether it is their operations or their tactical or their strategy. You understand? So it's always good to create a benefit management plan even before you start the project. So that once the project has created the deliverables, then they're transitioned. They are released, they are deployed, they are providing access to the people who want to use the solutions. And therefore the benefits are realized and value flows. And value flows. Okay. So then, of course, business needs to comply, and so does the project, because project is not done in a vacuum, is it? No, it's not. There's this whole thing called OPM, like we have the organizational strategy and goals, and then we have the portfolio, then we have the programs, and then we have the projects, and then we have the operations. And that's where the whole thing starts to work and link itself back to the project of the ultimately the things that outcomes come out to serve the organizational goals themselves. But if the environment changes internally to that business, externally to that business, then organizations do also need to change. And we need to do that part to continuously